Hello, and welcome to something a little bit different from what I usually post on my channel. Basically, I'm filming a little cinematic for my TikTok, link in the description, involving the use of some cool command block tricks. Alright, so let me walk you through the general idea I had for the cinematic. So basically, there's like a pillager raid on a hill. Wait, that's not a very impressive raid. Alright, there we go. And basically, they're like overlooking a village, and yeah, it's sunset as well, and they're like about to invade it. And basically, they go down to the village from the hill, and they invade it, and kill everyone, and they win, and also, I'm leading the raid. So in this first part, I'm using the list of commands that Silent Whisperer put in the description of his commands video to try and summon in the different pillager mobs. I'm then going to hold them in place facing a certain direction, using command blocks. As you can see, I type in the incorrect command for a Ravager with a Pillager Rider a couple times, but eventually I figure it out. So this Ravager with a Pillager Rider is the first of many mobs I will be setting up on this hill. I should probably mention some of the other commands that I set up before I started recording. The most important one is I set up a slowness command that would affect my second account while I'm leading the raid. The reason behind this is because if you're trying to use a command block to teleport enemies close to you and you move around fast, it just makes it look very janky. So if you have the slowness potion and you're going at a very slow speed, then it actually looks like the enemies are walking with you and not being teleported in a janky fashion. I also thought I'd throw in some skeleton horses with the skeleton archers on them to make it look more intimidating. But as you can see, I ran into the same issue of typing in the command wrong, and I had to figure it out yet again. So basically, I added the 3 other skeleton horsemen, and I kept adding more raid mobs, naming them, and then locking them in place using command blocks. I also put sunshades over the skeletons so their helmets wouldn't run out of durability in the sunlight and they'd burn up and die. For this Ravager, I ran into a strange issue with the command blocks in the whole name tag scheme. I kept trying to name it and refer to it in commands as IL3, of course standing for Illager 3, but for some reason, I guess the system just didn't really like that name, because it just wouldn't work, and I thought it was because the command block was too far away, but it turns out I had to just change the name and for some reason it worked fine afterwards. I was running out of room in my command block room, so I had to make more space by mining out the walls and then using repeaters to extend the signal to the level behind the original command blocks. With all the mobs in place, I got a shot over the shoulder of all the mobs towards the village that the hill is overlooking. I also set up a cool shot from the front where you can see the sun going down, it's sunset, and then the camera pans downwards and you see the raid and my second account leading the raid on top of the hill. Another one of my ideas was to overlay fire over my character's face as part of a cinematic, so I also got some shots of the fire to use later. Now that I had gotten the cinematic shots and set up the command blocks to hold enemies in place, I had to set up another set of command blocks with different commands. This second set of command blocks would teleport the enemies along with my second account to make it look like the enemies were moving and following my second account player. So I needed to enter coordinates relative to where my second account would be standing. For example, if an enemy was standing 14 blocks behind my second account relative to my second account's position, I'd want them to stay at that distance, so I'd tell command blocks to continuously teleport that enemy 14 blocks behind my second account. So if my second account moved forward, the mob would also move forward just enough so that it would still be 14 blocks behind my second account. There wasn't really a way to test to make sure that this all worked and wouldn't break my command block setup before I actually tested it for the first time for the recording, so I just pulled the lever and hoped everything went okay, and for the most part, they did. One of the skeleton horsemen accidentally put the wrong coordinates for it to teleport to, so it was like way off to the side, but once I fixed that, everything was correct. In the middle of me being almost done setting up filming the cinematic, I had another idea. I thought it would be fun to have my primary account set up to look like I was playing in survival, only to have my second account with a bunch of raid mobs following it fly in and land in front of me. So I set myself into survival mode, gave myself a bunch of crappy gear, and started walking through the village to the other side and set up this shot. With that out of the way, I finally filmed the shot of me leading a raid into the village, and I did a couple takes just to make sure one of them was good. Then I put all these shots together and put some music over it, and this is the final result. This was my first time doing anything like this, so if you enjoyed, please leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll catch you in whatever I post next.